Our next guest grew up in the mountains of Puerto Rico, spent a little bit of time on Sesame Street, and now dwells among the elves of Middle-earth in the new Amazon Prime Video series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Keep going!
New episodes of The Lord of the Rings come out Fridays. Please welcome Ismael Cruz, Córdova. We met at the Emmys on Monday night. You were nice enough to come up and say hello and say, I'm going to be on the show this week.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It took me about half of the show and staring at you awkwardly, you didn't see me, for about the entire time to muster the courage.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, wow, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
And then, yes, this very handsome young man walks up and says hello, and that was you. Did you meet Oprah? Well,
I actually did not. I mean, I could feel her presence. I think everybody did. When she came in, it was just like a wave.
It was.
Like, and her mask was, I mean, kind of awkwardly huge. You know, it kind of covered half of her face. But we all knew it was her. I was telling my friend, because I was getting coy, I was getting nervous. I was like, I think I just realized that my celebrity crush is Oprah.
Is Oprah, yeah. I think everyone's was. It's funny because some people are like, oh, should we stand up, whatever, and there was no question about it. It's like, oh, Oprah's here. Get up, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I stood up. I was, like, blushing. Well, I don't blush. But, yeah, I stood up, and I was like, truth. I was feeling all, like, giddy and excited and just, I had one of those moments. That moment, actually, was the moment that I was like, I'm here.
Well, we got a great picture of you and Oprah together. This is, there you are. Yeah.
I mean...
Right there.
Look at me. Look at me. I was also trying every time, because I was sitting right there, every time that a guest would come in, I was like, you know, tilting to get in the shot.
We were learning about you today, and I mentioned you grew up in the mountains of Puerto Rico. You have an amazing and inspiring life story. It's really incredible. You take us through it briefly?
Yeah, well, I grew up in the mountains of Buenas, Puerto Rico. It's in the central range of mountains. A very poor town, circumstances back then, rural. You know, I grew up in houses with dirt floors. You know, we had a lot of electricity rationing when I was there. So like 3 times a week, we didn't have electricity. So I did a lot of homework by candlelight. It was kind of idyllic. You know, it was crazy because back then you had to, like, you know, use pencil and paper. And then almost about the time where I was ending my essay or whatever, a little wax would go on the paper and ruin it, and you have to restart the thing.
Wow,
you know, it's kind of like
Benjamin Franklin or something.
I know, like with a quill. And but you know, I mean, my family was highly literate. You know, I was one of the first people that could read and write. I remember like reading the newspaper to my aunt, my grandma, and that started my fire for wanting to start this career. Actually, I don't know what I was gonna do. I just knew that I wanted to bring these people with me however I could and bring voice to us. Because there's a thing when you're poor that people feel that you need to just like be tucked away and not participate. And I was like, hell no.
And then you worked hard. You get a scholarship to go to NYU. You move to New York City. And you wind up on Sesame Street.
Yes, I did.
Which is pretty crazy. In fact, I think I have a photograph of you and Elmo and Rosita here.
Look at that.
And even at this time, you were living, you didn't have a place. You were...
No.
I
was homeless.
Homeless, yeah.
Yeah, I was couch surfing. And, I mean, I was from couch to couch. Sometimes I slept in trains or benches or the park. It all depended, because like if I had a couch and randomly somebody was gonna come in, my friends would be like, sorry, I need to use it. But I did develop this little tactic where I would just hit up one of my friends that lived the furthest up, kind of late-ish at night, so that it was late enough where I'm like, oh, I think I have to stay over. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, but I bet it wasn't so funny back then. I bet it was very, very stressful.
It was stressful, and it was about 5 years of that. It was about 5 years, I even in bathtubs or whatever. But the thing is that what I tell you about where I came from and everything that I went through it was a no-brainer to me. I never had a plan B. For me, it was like, I'm gonna go and do the thing that I'm doing. So it never felt like too much because I was very connected with my mission. So I did what I had to do.
Even to the point where it feels like you willed this Lord of the Rings job, because I know I'd heard that you had a DVD player that you bought for your family, and one of the few DVDs you had was the Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And how many times did you audition for this?
It was about 6 or 7 months worth of auditioning. I cannot tell you how many times I did audition. By the time I auditioned New York, LA, and then I got shipped out to South Africa, to the desert, borderline with Namibia. And right there, by the time that I got there, I got my first rejection. And I was like, nope. I told my managers, they sent it, we kept fighting for it, and they gave me another opportunity. So by that point, I'm putting my tape together. Everybody's excited, because my makeup artists are like huge Tolkien fans. They do my makeup, they set me up with lights. I was living in a tent, like there were like 10 accommodations. And I shoot it in my tent. There was very little Wi-Fi, only in this kitchen on the top of the hill. So a little bit of like, it was almost like dial-up, you know? Mm-hmm. I go, put the phone there, plug it in, sleep in the kitchen. 8 hours later, I wake up in the morning to upload failed.
Oh, wow.
So we take I'm freaking out. I give the phone to my driver that was there. Like, he drives it 2 hours to the next village where there's like Wi-Fi. He plugs it in, sends it, gets to the producers, and then I got my response, and it was nope again.
Oh, no. Wow.
Yeah, by that point, I'm freaking out. I really want this role. I really believe that this role is for me. So I tell my team, listen, I know that Jay Bayona lives in Barcelona. I speak Spanish. I know that we're going to vibe. If he meets me, I know that he's going to give it to me. So let's redirect my flight. I'll show up at his office. We'll have coffee. And they're like, yo, just relax. Don't be creepy, you know? And don't get arrested. You know, we're trying to get you in the show. So by that point, the producer sent an email. They're like, listen, he's great, but it's not going his way. I made my way to New York. They sent, my manager calls, and he's like, well, actually, they want you to go to New Zealand in like 2 days. I was like, what do these people want, my man? I was like, what do they want from me?
Wow.
So I make my way to New Zealand, and I truly believed that when I got there and people felt my essence, because Arondir is a warrior led by love, you know? And I really felt that if they met me, they would know. So I got there, I was kind of like, kind of playing it cool, but I did throw in that energy, and once I did my audition, I felt that everything turned. And actually, in my audition, there's third episode, there's a moment that everybody's responding to, where I touch a tree and I pray over it and I ask for forgiveness. That was actually something that I did in my improvisation, and it made it to the show.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. What a great story. Wow, I am very happy for you.
Thank you.
And does Elmo know about all of this? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, I hit him up. I was like, Elmo, what's up? We made it, my guy.
Well, it was great to meet you, and congratulations. It's a big deal. New episodes of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, available Fridays on Amazon Prime Video. Ismael Cruz, Córdova. Thank you, Ismael. We'll be back with Kane Brown.